Hello fellow Total Warriors, I am Zardar and welcome. So today I'm gonna be doing something like a guide about the politics, because I've seen way too many people having a problem with it. I mean, I've seen some guys right after the protected expires, the protected state, they just get immediately a secession, and as soon as they suppress it, they get another one, and that's pretty much the whole campaign, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm gonna try and show you what I do, because I don't wanna name this as a guide. I don't think a guide is the correct term, because I don't know, I find guides to be, just something general and fluid. It doesn't have a standard concept. Personally, I wanna see an example, exactly what are you doing, so I can do it myself, and then I'm gonna make my own assumptions. So yeah, see this more like an example. It might be wrong, it might be right, but for me it's working. I never get a civil war, and if I get, it's gonna be for two reasons. First, it's gonna be because I just forget about the politics and I just spam and turn, and then I'm up against the rebellion. And secondly, a minor glitch, which I'm gonna explain. Not a glitch, just probably bad programming, if you ask me. So what do I do first of all? Just to keep track, I try to have like how many houses there are. 3 with mine, I mean, yeah, with mine there are 3 houses. So whenever I recruit a general, say that we started off the campaign right now, we get our faction leader, which our color is brown. I try to have all of the colors, all of the houses into equal number, except mine, which is gonna be like +1. Say that we can afford to have how many? Like 3 generals, 3 land armies. I make sure that if I get 3 houses, 1 is mine, 1 is the clan of the sun, and 1 is Black Serpent clan. Whatever, it's just, oh sorry, that's I just bumped my microphone. And yeah, this actually helps you a lot, just making sure no much power goes to one house, because the more they win battles, the other houses and you as well, the more balanced the influence and also the loyalty system remains. These guys, and I don't mean about the military trait, which means the more battles they win, the better they like you. That has nothing to do with it. You gotta make sure the other houses are winning battles. You can't just go and have fun all by yourself with your own house, and don't do the mistake of just hiring them and just sitting them inside the city, somewhat like a defensive war. For example, if I wanted to protect the northern front over here, like this island. No, what the hell? Where's the north? I forgot what have I done in this campaign. Yeah, say that I wanted to leave somebody up here on Felathri just to act as a defensive with just 5 men as garrison. Well, you shouldn't do that. If you do, just make sure it's not the house leaders. Just hire some secondary guys like this one over here or this one. Make sure the house leaders are not in a secondary role. Just make sure they always fight, they always go for the kill, and they'll be liking you. And just a minor tip, if you could get them to fight together with your own faction leader, with your own house leader, that would be a great choice as well. I've seen, it doesn't say it here, but I think it has to be like in the other factors. But yeah, look at that. She's not a militarist, although you can see the general wins battle. And it doesn't only apply to her. Like if I have like 3 of this house and all 3 are winning battles, that's gonna be a lot higher. Then you're gonna tell me they're gonna get a lot of influence. As you can see here, they get more influence than me, 43%. I'm gonna explain that. You don't need to worry about that. Your first priority, especially on legendary difficulty, because this is legendary difficulty, so the penalties are the most you can get. Yeah, I'll tell you a way how to fix this. So besides making sure you get like if you were able to recruit like 7 armies, you should make sure, and with 3 houses, you should make sure that you get 2 of this, 2 of this, and perhaps 3 of yours. It doesn't matter if you get 1 more. It's not a big deal. I'm saying it again. It's not mandatory. It just helps you keep track easier of what the hell is going on. And alright, let's go to the next stuff. Say that you do that and still it's not enough. Well, I'm gonna just tell you what I do. I'm not gonna explain what the politics actually do. I don't care what they do. I just found a way, the cheapest way, and almost you gotta count in the lazy factor, because let's be honest, you can't be every goddamn turn in here in the politics section just making sure nobody rebels. You gotta have some fun, just perhaps come back like every 5 or 10 turns, something like that. So yeah, lazy factor is a big part. Alright, but what the hell? Let me show you. So what I usually do, should I start a new campaign? I think I should start a new campaign just so you can see. Let me just go to kick off a new one real quick from Rise of the Republic. Let's go with Rome, because they get 2 houses, I think, straight from the beginning, while some other factions just only get 1, which is not does not make for an ideal case. Come on. Just cancel everything, and there you go. So, let's go over here. Politics. You're gonna see what I'm usually doing. So, if I get like 2 houses over here, I always make sure they get wives. And why is that? Because the more persons I can manipulate. If you have like only 2 persons over here, you can only like perhaps upgrade them from over here, send only 2 into missions. Which means +5 loyalty, which means +10 loyalty from only 2 persons. But if you have like 6 over here, you can get +30 loyalty. Is that correct? Yeah, it's correct. And alright, so we straight away give all of this. I'm not gonna do it for both houses, I'm just gonna do it with the one up here. Also, you don't need to do it straight from the beginning. I don't mean that you start a campaign and you just give everybody a wife and you waste all of your money. That's not an ideal case. You just do it slowly, but you always pay attention to it. You just never forget about it. So let's make sure we get both of these guys 2 wives. So what I usually do is whenever a new guy pops up, I always just secure him a promotion, and I just leave him there. I don't try to get another promotion which costs money unless it's mandatory or it's cheap. Like if it's for, like, as you can see here, 700, it's not a big deal. So I always make sure I get plenty of members, as you can see, because I can just easily spam this ability for extra loyalty. So let's see what only that ability did. It just cut it in half almost. So the next part, what I usually do is from these options I just choose the least expensive, which is what? Send a diplomat, and it got the greatest rewards. It varies. Sometimes you get money back, like your diplomat comes back with money, and some other times you get a whole new total province. Like if they really like you, they're gonna give you a whole province, which is also good, although I don't find it great because it should be on demand, not just something random, but that's another different matter. So as you can see here, we reduced it to -7. The more generals they pop up in here, as you saw in my previous campaign, which I was in the beginning of the video, I had over here like how many members, like 10. Imagine if I just hit a secure promotion to all of them. Well, I can't do it because it costs money. Look at that, how much it costs now. But I can easily just choose the cheapest option, which is the send diplomat. From all of these, like the secure promotion only worth it in the beginning, and perhaps a little bit later. Like how much does that cost now? No, that costs too much now, so only the beginning. The improved relations, it doesn't usually come available too often, so don't mind that. Leisure time, it never comes. I haven't even used that ability. I don't know what it even does. I always get these 3, and from these 3, the send emissary and the organized games are usually quite expensive, as you can see here, 1,736. Also here 1,400, and here you can see it's just 500. So you can easily just spam this ability. It doesn't matter, you don't need to get the loyalty like positive 50 plus 50. You can just leave it at +5, +10. That's a good way to go, unless you wanna make sure you won't bother with the politics for like 20 turns. You can just hire it up if you get the money. So this is the cheapest way to go, just making sure you get the diplomat over here. As you can see, we ran out of money a little bit, but that's okay, because cost in coins, as you can see, 6 pows costs a really lot. But look at that, we can we have a new member, which that these two previously translated as how much does that loyalty provide? +2. That means +4, but now we get +6 if we upgrade here and also send here into a mission. And I usually do that. I keep the men in order to fight and win battles, in order they like me more, and I send the wives on diplomatic mission, pretty much like all of the time. What you don't need to do is send, perhaps this is a statesman and his wife is this one. You don't want to send both of them into a diplomatic mission, because there's always a chance that somebody will die, and if both die, then you lose total 2 persons from a house that you can manipulate and greatly reduce the penalty for the loyalty. So you don't want to send both of these guys. And how about the politics in the influence? Like they most likely will, after all of these actions, will control all of that thing over here. Well, that comes into thought into the later game, and you don't even need to worry. The way the thing I'm saying here, it works. Either this guy is a pacifist, either is a xenophobe, either it's a patriot, or either it's all of them. Like, it doesn't really matter, it's always the same for me. I never pay attention to their party traits, I don't give a crap. I always just apply the things I'm telling you here, and I never get a rebellion, unless I forget about it. And the other way I'm gonna tell you now. Right, so how do you fix this one if they get too much power? Because they are winning battles, they go in diplomatic missions, so their gravitas is really high and you're just doing nothing. Well, you always gotta make sure your faction leader never dies, and as soon as you do that, you just come here and just spam the gather support. The gather support reduces the loyalty -2, which if you just have it, say, for +20, you can spam it that for like 10 times and get 10% influence for own party. And okay, you can do it straight from the beginning, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to do it straight from the beginning. You can do it like mid-game or late game. That's where it comes in. So don't worry if the influence of yours is dropping over here. You can always just pick your faction leader, pick your wife, your sister, or whatever is here. Just mind that these guys do not belong in another house, and just spam the gather support. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you about how you probably can't escape a rebellion, a secession, is just probably bad programming. I don't know if they thought about this, or it's the way it should happen. So, say that there's 2 houses here, and this guy decides to create a new one. This guy belongs to your house. So, if you just create out of a sudden, and trust me, it happens. Like, my own sons secede from me in my other campaigns, and I just can't fix it, because the politics system reads them as they belong to my house, but they have created their own. So none of these abilities works, and that's the problem. That's the minor glitch or bad programming that I told you about. So say this guy creates a new house all by himself. If I try to manipulate his wife, as you can see, belongs to my house. So that loyalty +3, it's not gonna go to these factions, it's actually gonna reduce by -3, and that's because she belongs to me, and also that guy. So you really need to get extra people for that party, and it's just random. You just can't hire politicians from here. I know this is hire politicians thing, but it's just random. As you can see over here now, it has all 3 houses, all 2 houses, so it's pretty great. But later into the game, you most likely will end up with just guys from your own house, or guys with this house, and you're having problem with the house of Lycinia, for example. So that's a problem. That's the only thing you can't avoid a rebellion, unless you're lucky, of course. Sometimes I avoid it, sometimes I can't, because it's either a glitch or it's bad programming. Either one of these, or I don't know, perhaps they made it that way, so you know, it feels more roleplay, like your own son rebels against you, or your own brother, so you can't avoid it, like he's too jealous of yours. I don't know, perhaps they thought it that way, but yeah, it's just not working out sometimes. But the good thing is that if he's all alone, he'll probably just rebel with only one province, so you don't really care. You'll just send one army over there, just make sure you kill him straight away, and it's pretty much over. So yeah, that's another problem. So if you get like a 3rd house, and it's usually a family member, or even if it isn't, the bad thing is that they just don't spawn enough members over here. If I progress the game for like 10 turns, probably over here I'm gonna get like up to 8 guys, including the wives, and over here another 8 guys. But in the third house that's gonna pop up, you rarely get any more than 2, and you can't even get 2 because the guy that's gonna succeed is probably already married, and if he's married to one of your family members, then you're screwed. So that's the 2 ways that's going. So that's it, guys. I told you I don't want to give you general information which is always fluid. I just want to give you a straight example of what I do, and if you get any better ideas, or if you want to add up something, feel free to to just comment on below the video, and yeah, perhaps I'm wrong or you have a better way. I'm not gonna judge. I'm just doing this. It works. I don't bother anymore. So that's my how my thought works. If you find something better, perhaps I'm gonna apply it as well. So that's the way. And so I told you all about that. How often do you apply it? Well, as much as you can. I mean, I start the campaign and I try to, like, say I started the campaign over here. I probably was gonna get like a building, like a temple over here for public order, get a few troops, like 3 of them, and go into war immediately, because that's what I usually do. That's how I play my campaigns. So the remaining money, I just throw it on politics. I just make sure I get always enough money to do at least one action in the beginning of the campaign. As long as you progress, you're gonna be making more money and more money. And you might say that's way too expensive. It's costing you a lot of money where you could invest it. Well, that's the thing. The game has changed. The update changed that. You're actually making more money, so you can spend more money on the politics system. It's not like you're making the same like before the patch, so you're being dragged down now. It's balanced. It's balanced. They made you specifically as a faction, as the game in general makes more money now, and you get to spend more. You don't need to worry about that. You just gotta manage it right. So yeah, did I forget about anything else? Let me just see real quick. Just I don't use any of the other abilities. I told you I only use specifically the secure promotion, the send diplomat, and the gather support if my influence drops a lot. And the secure spouse, of course, 6 spouse, and what else? Appoint heir, yeah, that's pretty much, you can do it, but all of the rest I rarely ever use it. Perhaps you can do like send a gift, do a favor, but well, it's just like, as you can see, +1 loyalty, plus okay, that doesn't even do anything. Flirt, well, that's not doing anything as well. So yeah, this is the 3 abilities that you need. 1, 2, 3. And if you don't want to be sending diplomats, because in the late game they always end up dying because everybody hates you due to expansionism. Oh, and mind that, just make sure you send the diplomats to factions that actually like you. Don't try to fix the relations with factions that hate you. They're probably gonna end up dead, and you'll just have to keep spending money buying new wives. Not buying new wives like an object, you know what I mean, the ability over here. And yeah, these 3. Send the diplomat, but always send it to a faction that actually likes you. Let me see if I forgot about anything. Again, you don't mind about the party traits. It's all the same as long as you apply these rules. As you can see here, it's -7. And okay, I wasted a little bit more money. You could you are protected here for 20 turns. If you just applied one thing of what I did every turn, it's gonna be up to +20 within 10 turns. So it's really easy. It's really easy. And make sure you don't spend too much money. Just make sure you always got it, the risk always at 0, perhaps up to 5%. Any more beyond that, it's a little bit tricky. And if you can get it at 0, that's excellent. You always should try to get it at 0. But if you don't have enough money, say, because you're getting attacked from everywhere, you have to hire mercenaries, you have to construct defensive and stuff like that, and you can't get it below like 10%, 5%. That's okay. That's okay. You first gotta make sure that nobody kills you off, then you bother with politics, and yeah, that's totally acceptable. So I don't see anything else that I need to tell you. Oh, and always say for example that I'm gonna get attacked by Vey over here. So what I do, I hire a new general. Please, for God's sake, don't hire the general of the opposition, which is this guy. If you drop this guy in here and he dies in a battle for unnecessary reason, like if you're going into an offensive war and he just dies, that's okay, bad things happen. But if you just you can hire, like over here, how many? Pretty much, like, look how many generals there are available. Just make sure you hire guys that are not house leaders. If you drop this guy here or the other one, where is he? This one. Well, you're gonna get hit by really negative disloyalty, or even if that's even a word, whatever. Yeah, just make sure you are really careful about the house leaders. Just always make sure about that. And that also applies for simple generals, but the penalty is a lot less, so you don't really need to worry about that. It's necessary. Somebody has to die, so you don't need to worry. If you want to avoid any penalty, make sure your guys are dying as well. And how do you deal with that? Perhaps if that was the leader of the opposition and he was placed here, and you know that you're getting attacked next turn, and you don't want to abandon the city, just go over here and replace him real quick with another random guy, and that's it, you're saved. Alright, let me go again. I just don't want to forget anything, and I always forget about something. So yeah, I don't think I've said about just make sure you keep a decent number, like 2 of the opposition house and 2 for you. Yeah, like the same number. If there's 3 houses available, it should be like 1 1 1 for maximum 3 armies. If it's 6 maximum maximum armies, it should be 2 2 2. Again, that's not mandatory. It's how it helps you easily keep track of the other guys. And make sure the opposite house leaders are winning the battles, not the successors. It does count, although it just counts more. Like this guy gets a better bonus, a better loyalty. The successor not so much. He doesn't produce so much loyalty. It's always the faction, the house leader, that does that. And I think we're pretty much over. I know you probably want me to go beyond and just explain all of this, but well, I don't know any of this. I just found the most simple way and the most laziest way, because I'm too lazy. I don't wanna be every turn on the politics window, except the beginning. In the beginning it's mandatory. You gotta spend until the protected goes out. You need to spend turns over here and just fix the mess that you begin with. But later, yeah, I just don't want to bother. I bother like every 10 turns. And if I don't get a notification that the civil war is imminent, then I'm screwed. That's what usually happens. That's why I get rebellions. I just forget about it altogether. Okay, yeah, we told about that. What else? I pretty much told you what's up here. If you can get, for example, if you have only one guy in House of Lucinia and you need to manipulate the whole house, and there's available generals over here for that house, feel free to hire them and then just seek a spouse for them, upgrade them over here, secure the promotions, send them on diplomatic missions, and you're gonna be great. I don't think I have forgotten about anything right now. I think I covered it pretty much all. As I'm telling you again, this is not a guide. This is a pure example of what I do, and I never get rebellions. Not ever. You know what I mean. And the secure loyalty, you only need to do it in times of really hard loyalty breakdown, like you really need it. Perhaps a house leader dies and you need to pull the loyalty back together pretty much almost immediately, and you get the spare money, so you just secure the loyalty. And always be mindful that this plus 10 loyalty always applies for 5 turns. That means after 5 turns it's gone, so you're wasting money for 5 turns. But over here it's permanent. These abilities last forever. Here you go, you can get some more loyalty. This one. Yeah, these abilities are always permanent. That doesn't mean that if you just reach it up to 20, plus 20, it's gonna stay on plus 20. It's always gonna start to drop. unless you're doing everything else correctly, like you're winning battles, you're making sure nobody of the house of the other house leaders is dying. Perhaps you won't even need to bother at all. Even and if you get like positive party traits, you won't bother with that house anymore. I usually have to bother if I get 3 houses. I usually have to bother with 1 or 2. One of the houses which get the positive traits, he's always lagging me. Like I never need to do any of these actions. I just make sure he wins battles, and he's always gonna love me. And I've seen some guys worrying about the pacifist trait. Don't ever worry about the pacifist trait. Just keep declaring war on everyone. As long as you apply all of that, you're gonna be great. And let me see. I don't think I forgot about anything. Like I've said it all. Provoke ability, you don't need to use it unless that glitchy thing happens over here, and you have a control of where the rebellion is going to happen. By control I mean you take a look over here, the political party affiliation, and you see, for example, that Sabinia belongs to the house that's about to rebel. Well, you just send your armies on Sabinia, you make sure you strip of that house leader from his army, you just hit provoke, and you just go in and capture it free and easy without any problem. And also, let's not forget about the party loyalty edicts. I usually just always, pretty much standard for me now, before this patch came out, not this one, the Rise of the Republic, I think it was Desert Kingdoms that the politics changed. Yeah, since then I've always been using the party loyalty edicts. I mostly never ever use like the tax rate or the public order. Perhaps I'm gonna use it like here in until I get out of the protected state. I'm gonna use it just a few turns in order to just keep the public order stable, but then later I'm gonna change it to the loyalty, because it's a great way to help. And always keep making sure you're taking the political map over here, because the more stuff you conquer, the provinces that the house control, they always change. Like say for example, the House of Emilia and House of Lycinia control the House of Emilia controls Latium. Well, if you capture Sabinia, that means probably they're gonna move over to Sabinia. They swap provinces most of the time. They never remain the same on the same province. So you really need to keep an eye out on the political party affiliation over here, and just keep making sure that you get the edict right. Another thing you can do, I think it's with dignitaries though. They got a trait. Where do I get dignitaries? Let me just show you. I'm gonna go to my where is it? Where's my, damn it, there's too much. Anyway, just screw it. Yeah, the dignitaries have specific abilities that if you just get them inside the army of an enemy house, of another house that doesn't belong to you, you get extra loyalty. I think perhaps the champion could do that as well, but I'm pretty sure about the dignitary. He can always do that. And I think that's it. I pretty much covered it all. There's nothing else to say about yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed, guys. As I said, it's not a general guide, it's more like of an example. If you want to add up something, feel free to say it in the comments. Any questions, also in the comments. And if you have an even better way than mine, please also feel free to state it in the comments, because that's actually really helping me and the other guys. So again, really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.